What is happening, guys? Hey guys, we got a review on the ACC Crappie Stix 13-foot rod rear seat model. Just got this rod for Christmas. I'm looking forward to using it today, so stay with us. So we're going to do a little review on this 13-foot ACC Crappie Stix, and it does have the rear seat on the handle. This is the first day I've ever fished a rear seated reel, and you know, first impressions, I like it. You want to hold the rod on this end from what I gather. And I've been wanting to try these rear seated rods, so you know, on my Christmas list, boom, it came to me on my Christmas list. Someone got it for me for Christmas. So anyway, I have the 1000 Sienna reel on the back. You can use a 500 or 1000. It's much lighter, and the rod weighs 7.3 ounces. That's pretty light for a 13-foot rod. You can see that's a lot of rod right there. 13-foot rod. The grip sticks to your hand really well. I like that. It doesn't slip. You can't move it. Sticks to your hand much better than cork, if you will. I fished cork handles my whole life. It has a rounded butt on the end, and right here between this point and this point is the balance point. I'm going to lay my finger here, and you can see right in there is the balance point for the rod. Now that's just on my finger here. So this rod is balanced. Your hand would be placed right along here. I've been fishing with this rod today, so still have my lures tied on. So you would place your hand here. That's where I place my hand. Place your hand here. I like to place my hand here and lay my finger on the rod tip. That helps me to actually feel the fish a little bit better, personally. That's my personal preference. So I'm going to hold the rod here. The butt of the rod fits good here to give you leverage to lift the fish up out of the water. I like that. You know, many cork handles rods have a longer butt to give you the leverage to lift the crappie up in the boat. The biggest fish I caught today was about 12 inches. There was no issue with me lifting the fish straight up and back to me. I think you could do a 1.5 pound crappie easily. I would dip a 1.5 pound crappie, I'm telling you. I wouldn't lift him up. But anyway, I think this rod would handle a 1.5 pound crappie easy, even though it is 13 foot. Overall impression, I like the rod. It is well balanced right here where your grip would be. That's what you would want in a rod that you're going to hold in your hand. The 13-foot rod allows me to reach out just a little bit further. Last year, when fish started to move up shallow, I was sniping some crappie. I would just spot them out on shallow flats. And when I got around that 10 to 13-foot mark, many times they would swim off away from the boat. So this gives me 3 extra feet of distance to reach out and maybe drop to that crappie just prior to me actually getting to him. So that's why I chose the 13-foot rod. I have a 10 in the ACC Crappie Stix, and I utilized that a lot last year. It has a lot of backbone just like this rod. This rod is fairly stiff all the way out to the very tip, and that's what allows you. It doesn't have a tremendous amount of bend, so you can lift the crappie back to you. All in all, I fished with it most of the day today and caught some fish with it. It didn't take me long to adapt to the handle. I'm used to the reel being a little further forward and this all being handled. My tip to you would be I catch the line. Let me turn this around this way. I'm finding it easier. I'm holding this rod kind of here, and I like to get, if it takes me a while, I like to get up here and put my finger right here, and I can feel the thump much better. Now, some of these crappie are thumping it pretty good. And I also, if I'm pendling out, I find if I hold the string in this hand and I flip it out like so, I can allow the lure to fall. I can control it with this right here. I find that easier with this longer rod till it gets all the way to the end. And once I flip the bail here, I'm gonna put my hand up here and I'm just feeling right here. I can feel the thump here. This is locked in here for the hook set. You see what I mean? Right here. Just lock my hand. I always like, you know, some rods are made, they have a cutout here where your finger rests. But this rod, if I hold it right here, that rod is pretty balanced because the reel's here and the length of the rod there. It's pretty balanced. So if you have your hand here, it's well balanced. And if your hand is back here, there's a lot of forward weight. You don't want that. So you want to hold the rod. That's why they put this light green mark here. Your hand's going to go up here. I prefer my hand to be a little bit forward so I can put my finger here. That's just how I prefer to hold the rod here. Most of these fish today have been in the 6 to about 12 foot range that actually bit. The deeper fish wouldn't bite. So if I have this 13-foot rod, here is my lures at the bottom of the rod. I know that it's 13 foot deep. Automatically, I can swing this rod out, lay it in the water down like this, and that is about 13 foot deep. Now, if the crappie is shallower, with a longer rod, you have more ability to adjust your depth. So if my rod tip is higher in the air, I hope you can see that in the camera. So if my rod tip is higher, say I'm fishing the lure at 8 feet, I simply, to adjust to stay out of the brush, especially if I'm fishing brush and I don't want to get hung up, I simply, because I have a longer rod, I begin to lower the rod slowly into the brush. If you're fishing live scope, you can watch it. You lower the tip of the rod. I have approximately 5 feet of depth that I can cover. I want to raise it up, I can raise the tip of the rod back up. So this longer rod allows you to cover a greater range without ever having to flip the bail or give more line. Second tip on this longer rod, I will say, is you can also flip the bail and you can also feather the line this way. Hold the line out to the side, pull it up, see how short the lure is to the end, and I can get to whatever structure or whatever I'm going to drop to, and I can start lowering the line this way. Set the hook, boom, I've got the fish, I've got the line here, I've got the tension on it. I can just give the line back, give the fish a little leeway to swim away, come right here, and wind the fish right up back to you. And as I said, this is made by ACC Crappie Stix. It is the GS13SG CO. It weighs 7.3 ounces and the action is medium fast. And it has plenty of backbone to lift the crappie up. I'll say that about all ACC Crappie Stix. It's a lot of backbone to them. I fish with this 10-foot rod ACC Crappie Stick a lot. It is very light and I can fish with it all day long with no issues, and it doesn't tire my arm out. The 13-foot rod is heavier and it does create a little more fatigue on your arm just because it is a longer rod. Longer rod, more material, more weight. That's just what you have to give up. So that would be the only negative thing that I could say about the ACC Crappie Stick. So if you're looking to stay on the lighter side, I would stay with the 10-foot rod versus the 13-foot rod. But the trade-off is I can get out further and maybe catch more fish with the 13-foot rod. So that comes down to personal preference of what you like in a particular rod. You're not going to go wrong with the ACC Crappie Stix. This is a rear seat. If you've never tried it, give it a try. Some people love them. Some people hate them. It's up to the personal preference. I particularly like the rear seat. Gives me a little more leverage. I look forward to continuing to use this rear seat 13-foot rod. Hey, and I'm going to catch a lot of fish with this rod. Anyway, guys, I hope this video helps you make a decision whether you want to buy these rear-seated reels or not. I love that grip on that rod. That grip is really great. Anyway, leave me a comment below if you have any specific questions about this review or about this particular rod. You'll be seeing this rod in more videos that I have coming up in the future. I look forward to utilizing this rod and catching some more crappie. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I hope you've seen something in the video that you liked. Hope you've seen something in the video that you learned. And hey guys, you remember, it's a wild life, and I'll see you on the water.